Hello and welcome to the Legends of DC's crossover roundtable, our big discussion about the CW Invasion crossover. I am Phil Parrish, and joining me is the hosts, well, most of the hosts for the Legends of DC podcast. Charlie Esser will catch up with us later, but right now we have Tyler Patrick.
Hello. Welcome.
Lilith Hellfire.
What's up, guys?
And Zachary.
Hello.
I should have said Jolly Thanksgiving to all.
I got the stuffing.
That was hilarious. So I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, let's start with Supergirl, what a lot of people had a problem with that they said wasn't a true part of the crossover.
Well, and I'm with them on that.
And so am I. And here's my first big bullet points before I talk over the episode. One, I really feel like this was a wasted episode as far as the crossover.
Yeah.
They should have planned. This should have been Medusa. Should have been after the crossover. They should have just. The crossover should have been planned as a 4-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have had the first part. Cisco and Barry show up, help Supergirl with something, explore her planet, meet with John, because there's no dialogue why John doesn't come to help fight aliens. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they Barry and Cisco should have showed up in the first 5 minutes when that first portal tried to open.
Exactly. Now,
did anyone? I was gonna mention this later, but I think it's worth mentioning now with what Tyler's saying. Did anyone else think that Barry was going to show up? I mean, it was the obvious cue when the Cyborg is saying, there is no one to help you. And then a portal opens, like, oh, Flash. And I'm like, where's Flash?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yes.
Did anyone else think that Medusa was the answer to stopping the Dominators?
Right? Okay, I was the only one.
Okay. And I'm like, holy crap. So I held out a little hope that maybe in one of the other crossovers, they would jump back, get Medusa and John, or get Medusa and then go back and use it to help fight the Dominators. But that seemed like a pretty dumb, segue of something that kills all aliens, and then that's how, and then they're going to fight the Dominators.
Oh God, I didn't even think about that.
with their fists. When Supergirl comes back, I have something that could save us on my planet. Somebody had a huge oversight, because that's why I say Medusa should have been after the crossover. So afterwards, she finds out, oh, we had a virus that kills aliens. Could have used that to fight the Dominators.
Oliver would have shot her down.
Nah, he would have been like, good, kill the aliens. I need normalcy in my life.
The sad thing is, this was actually a pretty good episode, but not being part of the crossover limited it, or hurt it even.
It's the new season finale, so it's just like they have to wrap up that second half more than anything.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, they shouldn't have. If I guess also the fact that the first in Flash they recap what happened in Supergirl.
Yeah, that made no sense.
It's the same scene. Had Flash started, the opening scene of Flash was him grabbing Supergirl,
mm-hmm.
or they just had not even put that in Supergirl.
Or think of this, Tyler. Why don't they do just what they did with the crossover last year? They do the episode for the crossover, and then still do Medusa. Kind of make the crossover unofficially standalone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a 4-hour movie event, like a mini-series episode. Because I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but I felt like the crossover was Flash and Legends, and then Arrow was kind of in this puff middle because they used the 100th episode, which should have been a standalone episode, in the crossover, and then Supergirl didn't even serve a purpose.
Well, yeah.
I think the real question is did CW not want the stink of the Arrowverse on Supergirl, or did they not want the stink of Supergirl on the Arrowverse? Because you notice that they never even mentioned Supergirl in any of the last time crossover promo. At the start of every episode, they never say. They say last time on Flash, last time on Arrow and Flash, last time on Arrow, Flash, and Legends. They never once mentioned Supergirl.
Yeah, because there was nothing to mention.
They didn't need to.
Nothing happened in Supergirl that tied in to the crossover.
Yeah, but the point is that it's very clear that they did not want. Maybe they don't have the rights secured to Supergirl fully yet. That they're worried that if CBS, who I think still has some creative fingers in it, decides that they don't want to do these kind of crossovers, they're going to lose something in the syndication. But of course, and then throughout the actual story, even when they have Supergirl, they keep on pushing her out. They decide to make Oliver a huge humanist, which is the human alien version of racist, I guess.
Well, the funny thing I'm thinking is just it's crazy well, again, not even Desmond John. There's a few guys they could have brought, but there's just it just didn't make any sense.
Like Superman.
Tyler.
Yeah, exactly. We don't talk about him. We only mention him vaguely.
Yeah.
Although we got that great Easter egg at the end, that she looks like Adam's cousin.
Yeah, which was awesome. And I mean, she had some great scenes, and I love seeing her interact with Barry and the team. I loved the whole Oliver's like, "Don't hold back, let's train," and she's just like, "You guys okay?" Yeah. Again,
Although speaking of her strength. Think of it. The fact that it's like they kind of whizzle away the whole later on. They kind of like, oh yeah, they're strong like Supergirl. It's like they have the same. Okay, sure, why not?
No, they're more strong like Venom, I think, than strong like Supergirl. They're strong. They're just maybe strong like Klingons,
But I mean, really, she could just balloon right past all of them,
Well, yeah. Well, that's your basic problem. Anytime you have the metas involved, is that it's like, well, it's as we always talk about. It's the Firestorm problem. Well, the second you put Firestorm in the situation, suddenly, okay, why is this taking so long?
Well, yeah, you kind of had to up their strength for this crossover, or else they would have been like, well, why didn't Supergirl mop them up in 5 minutes?
Now, this is actually a nitpick I want to talk about because I'm not on the Krypton report, but. Am I wrong, or does it make no sense that Henshaw calls himself Cyborg Superman?
Yeah.
No, it's completely valid. We just recorded because Jania's been sick, and we were talking about that. And my thing was, if Henshaw had maybe designed some sort of a symbol or a costume, something more as a mockery to Superman,
that would make sense.
And the idea that he is a man, a real man, and he's now, because of the cybernetics, he's now super.
Mm-hmm.
Would make more sense I'm a cyborg Superman, like as a mockery because he hates aliens, he hates Superman, but just him running around looking like Cyborg doesn't really work.
Well, wouldn't they?
To be fair, the term Superman existed before Superman.
Yeah, but he's called Cyborg Superman in the comics for a very specific reason. He pretended to be Superman after Doomsday. Everyone, he did. Well, depending what version, he's either dead or resting.
This is a different origin. So,
yeah, but I'm saying what Howard just said would have made it work if it was like a mocking of Superman.
Yeah, it'd make more sense if he called himself Cyborg Martian Manhunter.
No. See here's how I'll explain. Here's how I'll headcanon it for you. Okay. He's calling him Superman because he actually is a Superman. He is a cyborg Superman, whereas Superman isn't a Superman. He's some sort of super alien. Who even knows what sort of genders they have?
Correct. And I get exactly what you're saying.
Upstairs. And so to him, he's reclaiming the title Superman because he is the true man who is showing he is super. Because through his own force of will has, superfied himself, as it were, in classic Nietzschean style.
Oh, I think we should talk about how crap the security of the Fortress of Solitude is.
Well, he had
in all Superman lore for quite a while too, though.
I mean, he did have Kryptonian DNA.
Yeah, but think of it. In the last episode, it's like stop. Why aren't you stopping? Stop. I'm giving you enough time to overwrite my programming intruder. Stop. Please stop.
True story.
No, but what that remind me of? Batman versus Superman. Because like the Kryptonian technology is just so easy to. And I remember a version of Superman. I think it might have been I think there's different versions, but Superman had a lock on the door that only he and a superhuman could get into.
Well, he had a lock on the door in this one, didn't he? Because didn't Kara have to get the key originally?
Originally, yes. That was but that was when they were with CW or the CBS. You know,
Yeah, but I mean,
Oh God, the CW forgetting stuff again.
Oh, see, that CW budget. They cut the budget, so the security system isn't as good.
Think of CW.
they had to take the key out. You know, they were like, we can't afford this key.
Huh?
Anyway, so can we just talk about how they totally ripped off an episode of Batman animated series for Arrow?
We're not there yet, Charlie.
Yeah, we're just in the Supergirl.
You're right, but we're
realm.
not. And you're right, but we're not there yet.
Okay, I didn't know if we were jumping around or if we were trying to be chronological.
We're jumping around a little bit. We're also going to try to cover, and we should probably try to finish Supergirl kind of quickly since it's again not really part of the crossover.
Yeah, I say we just move on. I mean, we kind of hit the high points with the crossover. It is, like I said, a little disappointing, and Janine and I will discuss it a little bit later just because there's more stuff that ties directly into Supergirl. But
Right,
since
well,
we're
everything that's true. Everything I want to talk about what I liked in this episode, all the notes I made, are about the episode. It has nothing to do with the crossover.
Yeah, it was a decent episode, just not a crossover episode.
No, it was the mid-season finale.
So let's just move forward here, and let's just make this more about the crossover.
Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that.
So we'll go in with Phil with Flash.
The Flash, or as I like to call it, Everyone Hates Barry.
I like that.
He is the Peter Parker of the DC universe.
No, Peter Parker's not this stupid.
I don't know.
Have you seen Tobey Maguire? I mean,
The Peter Parker, the movies that you will not speak of the Sam Raimi movies.
woo.
Anyway,
All
right. Aliens drop out of the sky. Hi, how you doing?
That happened.
So casual, guys. Aliens. All right, aliens.
Cisco. Yeah, it is a meteor.
So yeah, so we get alien invasions, and one thing I liked in this is the discussion with, I guess, Amanda Waller's replacement with this.
Yes.
Have we seen this guy with the glasses before?
He's not. No, Lila's Amanda Waller's replacement.
Yeah, no, because he's talking down to Amanda Waller's replacement and says the reason why Amanda Waller got so far was because she always listened to me.
Yeah, no, the guy in the glasses is new.
You mean Lila?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's Diggle's wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was so condescending both to her and to Amanda.
I thought he was going to be someone from the comics for a second.
He seemed more like someone from the X-Files.
Well, yeah. Well, he can't be. The CW probably won't allow smoking.
Be like the gum-chewing man or something.
Oh, God. By the way, I love how Barry saves Diggle and Ollie and just leaves the villains. Like, yeah, I saved you guys. What about the villain? Villain?
Yes, thank you. I was like, Barry could have run in, knocked out Vigilante, tied him up, and then grabbed him. And
I'm going to quickly say this while I have the Arrow people here. Well, because my favorite version of Vigilante is the good guy version, so I'm a little pissed off at this.
I mean, I guess he was saving the unmasking for Oliver, so he could unmask Vigilante.
Next episode, guys. Next episode.
What on the next episode of Arrow? What, they're gonna unmask Prometheus and Vigilante and whoever else?
Everybody.
Well, I guess because they just left him there, he's just gonna be walking back and just, I totally forgot.
Well, they kind of give, even with the mask, he has this look of what just happened.
He's like, "Thank you, Flash."
Oh, by the way, and I want to be the first one to see this. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Yay!
And it's all CGI. I'm so bummed.
But it's a start. That's what I say. It's a start.
I agree with Thea. They should totally do something with it.
You think they'll keep it?
Yes, they're going to keep it. At least Greg Berlanti said they are.
Oh, what are they?
That's what they're going to.
They built it. They've got to keep it. Even if it's just built on the computer, they've got to keep it.
Are they going to use the? Are they going to use that on the Flash, or are they going to just use that every crossover?
I think they're going to use it on the Flash in the back half, maybe. Because they're going to reopen Star Labs, so they need to do the real superhero work somewhere.
Oh, yeah, that's right. HR is Abracadabra will blow up Star Labs. They'll need a new building.
Is it
Mark my words.
Anyone else think Iris was really rough and hard on Wally?
No.
Yeah.
She's a big sister.
Well, yeah, yes and no.
I think it's kind of back and forth because I see both points, and I mean this is slightly a different, it is slightly a different iris than what we're used to because it is a flashpoint iris, and I have to say this: everyone's all PO'd at Barry for saving his mom, and what happened? Nobody cared last year when Barry ran back in time and saved their lives.
Well, like
for the first season, he got consent from them to do it.
Yeah, well, like I said, every other time he ran back in time, there was an immediate danger of people dying. His mom had been dead for 15 years when he ran back.
Oh, and here's something I want to bring up that I forget if you mentioned this on Legend or even Flash. Shouldn't Flashpoint have been a major aberration?
Yeah, but they might have not just caught up with it because during the time stream, and maybe it was too big, they didn't catch it because it affected so much all at once.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe what I'll say is it probably wasn't as big of it's a big aberration in individuals' lives, but it's not a cosmic aberration. It's not like, oh, look, now Hitler won the war. Now it's, oh, someone different won the lottery. And it's like it's not something that is going to cause a major time pick because for the most part the overall flow of time would continue. It's just one extra person who lived as opposed to one extra person who died, and then other people died, which sort of makes everything even out.
Well, they say that Stein's daughter's an aberration, so that's a one person aberration.
But that's from Stein himself.
Yeah, Stein did that, not Barry.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
Not that it's okay. It's that the grand scheme of things. We'll see if his daughter goes on to build a quantum bomb, and if his daughter builds a quantum bomb that destroys the fabric of space and time, then her aberration suddenly becomes real.
And one thing I like is when they're like, okay, let's put it to a vote who's gonna be in charge, and Cisco says Oliver says Barry, and that's the end of the discussion. It's like that's not a vote.
Yeah, it is when the person that you vote for someone else.
But they didn't all vote for him. Only Cisco did.
Exactly. Cisco's like, oh, okay, denied.
Yeah, well, who else was going to do it? The only other person,
Diggle.
Yeah, exactly.
Diggle,
okay,
Diggle,
yes, I did think that before. Yes, Diggle.
Diggle, who's the military strategist. Diggle, who gets all the really great lines.
Yeah, but he gets freaked out by metahuman powers, so I don't know if that would work.
Diggle's like, he has all the best one-liners.
I feel like when Oliver's clearly like he's like, and Sarah has the best line. Are we gonna pretending like we don't hear him?
All right, here's my question: why is it that Iris was telling Wally he wasn't ready to be there with his metahuman powers, but Iris could just hang out with no powers?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. He's his anchor.
Yeah,
and apparently Wally's not ready yet. Shouldn't that mean he should train?
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Here's why I think she's a little more upset. Is because I think that the dangerousness of the Speed Force has been brought home in a very, when the Speed Force is, oh, you run fast. Oh, you're running around. Yeah, that's cool. Suddenly, oh, you go back in time. Oh, now you've created massive aberrations and people have disappeared and people's entire lives are destroyed or made better or made worse. Suddenly, it's a lot more dangerous. And it's like, oh, I can run fast. It's like, yeah, you also, it's like finding out your child, is a nuclear bomb, or your brother is a nuclear bomb. And you don't want him to use that power because you want him to be safe. Because for all we know, he's going to wipe himself out of the timeline if he goes too fast.
There was actually a line they could have said that would have really justified their actions towards Wally. There's a line where Wally says, I'm better than Barry was at the beginning. Someone should have said, no, you're faster than what Barry was.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have saved it would justify a lot of, I mean, we all agree that we understand it's her brother, but she didn't really say that. She just was looking up and going, no, don't stop. Don't. It's like, can we get some justification here?
Mm. And then they go and get help from Earth 38. So Supergirl's now officially Earth 38.
Ooh,
Yay.
I like Earth S way better.
Yeah, but I'm thinking it's 38 for 1938.
Exactly.
Or
yeah.
what is it? Season 3, episode 8.
But I
think how they came up with it.
Yeah.
I know. I thought it was kind of weird that Joe is just non-existent in this episode.
Well, he's in the Star Labs parts. Yeah, it's like, why wouldn't you bring? Well,
what do we need him for anyway?
To talk to Wally.
As much as I love him, I mean, come on, I'd rather focus on the aliens.
Oh, the one thing about Barry's future message, why does future Barry send it when he did?
We'll find out in Legends, okay?
Okay, yeah, let's also think that he's addressing to Captain Hunter, and does it just happenstance that they happen to find this at the time of the invasion, so they just assume that the war is the invasion?
Right, I was thinking that. Is it
else?
necessarily the invasion?
yeah, because
Misunderstandings for drama, for the sake of drama. Hello, people. Have you not been watching the CW or not?
Also, I want to know how the great HR is going to train Wally. He's going to be, run fast.
You mean the man who's no
does Earth
scientist?
even have a Flash or what?
He said it does. He did. He said it does. But well, that's what I said on the last podcast. I think it was the last podcast. How we don't know if anything what he says is true. We don't even know if he's really at Harrison Wells. Phil's theory is that he's abracadabra.
Mm-hmm.
We know. We're aware.
I still say Erwin Schwab.
Alan Smithy.
Oh.
Moving right along.
H.G. Wells.
He is a writer, just saying.
Mm-hmm. So but everyone was saying, why wasn't Joe there? Why wasn't Joe there? I mean, HR was there. What did HR?
Right.
HR's not a scientist, supposedly. What can he add that Joe couldn't?
With the muse.
Go fight aliens.
Joe has a job, guys.
That's what I was about to say.
Joe's got other
That's
stuff
true.
Unlike everybody else.
Again, one of the things they never address in Flash is how anything gets paid for.
Star Labs owns patents. Hello.
Oh yeah, that's right. Barry's unemployed now. I forgot.
He still owns Star Labs and its patents. It's okay. He's doing just fine. Maybe he's been loaning Oliver money. Who knows?
Selling him equipment, trick arrows.
Yeah. Still no boxing glove arrow though.
We did.
That was like season 3.
Charlie, you can't.
We did get one.
Charlie, you can't say we haven't gotten something yet when you don't watch the show.
Fair enough. I would just think that would have been a bigger story.
Why? You know what Arrow really needs? A dark version of an Archer.
Only every season.
You know what Flash needs? An evil speedster.
Why was Diggle there is what I want to know. I mean, I get he's part of the Arrow and everything, but
son accomplished nothing.
Well, I mean, he does a military training and
he doesn't do anything.
He's got some great lines.
He should have been Spartan. I'm so mad at Supergirl for taking that from me. That's why he wasn't Spartan, because they had that in the works for a while. So I'm very upset with Supergirl about that.
Diggle is there for the same reason. I'm sorry. Diggle is there for the same reason Oliver is there, because story-wise you need to have enough characters in costume, and just strategic-wise you want different kinds of power sets. You don't want just heavy hitters. You don't want just your metas. You want people that bring a wide range of things, and if nothing else, can be cannon fodder.
Well, and plus
that's what Mick was for.
and they call Supergirl skirt.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? The 30s? Did we just time travel to the 30s for no reason?
Yeah. That's what the legends do. They time travel. So Mick was like, you know what would be funny? I'll call her a skirt.
Nice gams.
Well, that's a very silly out, but it is fair to call her out on it. Because, every time she flies, everyone is looking up her skirt. I mean, even if they don't show it, it is a reality of that costume.
No, it's just like Clark Kent's glasses. When she flies, she has a secret Kryptonian power that keeps the skirt right there.
Yes, but if she's above you, it's still an opening,
Okay, moving along.
And now we know what Charlie's been thinking about for the last 6 hours. So anyways.
At Charlie Esser. Okay.
There you go.
Look for the 2 E's in the middle for quality.
Me and Lilith both say it. Okay, now the future newspaper. What was the Easter egg with the... Because I tried to look up the name. I couldn't find anything.
It's just that it's not Iris. I don't know.
Everyone was saying it's an Easter.
I think she's a writer or something on Flash, or like a PA or something like that. They always do stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's just that he maybe sabotaged their relationship because now she,
or maybe she's living in the future. She's living in the future. That's my headcanon until it comes crashing down horribly.
The 30th century.
Phil, did you say she sabotaged or sabotaged their relationship?
I know. I thought she said that too.
Dum-dum.
I don't think that gets a room. Oh, I guess it does. But I love how this is one thing I love about like how power sets all are affected by people writing, because I love the idea that Oliver can hold off that many legends and characters at once. It's like, okay, Oliver's good, but no.
Well, he's the Batman of this universe, so he has to be that good.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it the trope that
for the sake of plot armor?
Isn't it the trope that even though technically they are mind controlled, they're still like subconsciously holding
I made a
back?
note of that. It's the old saying. It's like why they didn't actually kill. It's like they're not going to go full bore because part of them's still them.
I don't know. Supergirl didn't seem to hold back on Wally.
True. Oh, and speaking of that, I love how they keep telling. They're like, Wally, that was stupid. I just want to see him go. You mean saving Barry's life when there was no one else? I don't see how that was stupid.
Exactly.
Oh, and we finally get Ollie running out of arrows.
You mean he finally shot enough? Like, I mean, it's been a long time since he shot a lot of arrows.
And I love how all the non-metahumans went after Oliver and all the metahumans went after Barry. It's like, okay,
the reverse.
Metahumans might have been able to take Oliver out a lot quicker. Just saying.
And now, what do we think about?
Yeah, but the humans would have done nothing against Barry.
What do we think about the fights themselves? Like the stunt work and the look of it.
Flash has never had this much action, and I was so here for it, though.
I know, right?
And the music was so epic. Everybody got their themes back. I was like, oh my god, Blake Neely must have been like pulling his hair out.
He was having a good time.
Oh yeah, it was all great.
That's a lot of pressure.
The whole episode was basically just everyone goes, "We don't trust you, Barry." 5 minutes there, we trust you, Barry.
That's the whole crossover. That's the 3 episodes at least.
Right.
Well, they're building back their friendships and their connectivity. You know, everyone's growing as a person.
Oh wait, because they're metahumans. Was it their super connectivity?
Dang it, Phil! You took my line.
You know, it's bad when I thought I was going to make the joke, but decided I was above it.
You know, it's bad when we all
never above it, especially when it comes to a shameless plug.
Yeah, I know that.
That's right, Lilith Hellfire of the Channel 52 podcast.
Yikes. It's not me this week, guys.
It's like, oh yeah, it's like, quick, everyone get inside so everyone connected to Arrow can be taken.
Except for Felicity.
Well, I mean, in fairness,
if only we could shoot her in this space and let the Dominators keep her.
Oh, what if the Dominators had just abducted her and used her as the weapon? And Oliver had to kill her to say goodbye.
I was waiting for her to be like a shape-shifting alien, because, I don't know, in some of the episodes, didn't she seem kind of off to some people?
Yeah, she's been off this whole season.
No, but I mean, even especially in the crossover, she's making like weird faces and just like, I don't know.
That's because they're trying to get back to season 1 and 2.
School of acting, no offense.
I mean, I thought the old guy with the glasses was going to be an alien by the end of it, but not so much.
I just thought he was going to be a DC character. So, anything else to talk about for Flash?
I don't think that. So they took Oliver and the others, which I guess throws us into Arrow.
I miss Ray on Arrow. I'm just gonna say he needs to come home.
Can I just say, like, why, if this Dominators were doing what they were doing, why didn't we get to meet? This would have been a cool way to meet Ray's fiance. It's like if they're trying to keep him occupied and they're making everybody kind of be happy.
Because he really wanted Felicity. That's what I took from it.
Yeah.
From that
really?
From that Saints Row 4 dream state.
Do you think? Well, I mean, I took it to mean that they just needed to use the short answer for both the story and the characters, or the story and the production, is that they needed to utilize who they had, so they had to have a place for Felicity, so they might as well stick her with Ray.
Velocity was the jam.
But they already used her to be Diggle's sidekick, and there's just no they've had characters on that we haven't seen since like season 1. So I think it would have been fine to bring in give a character for Ray's wife.
You know what would have been awesome if they would have had original Sarah instead of Katie Lutz. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that's who I think Prometheus is. It's original.
And they didn't even show Reza, y'all. Like, I was so upset. I'm like, I've been waiting for this rush dang maid to come back.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm thinking that original Sarah is going to come back as Prometheus. That it was all altered by something Barry did.
Flashpoint.
Although we did get a reference to the pilot with the Russian. They referenced the Russian maid.
So,
which is a weird choice.
That's why they.
All I'm saying is
that's why they wrote Flashpoint. So any inconsistencies in any of these 4 shows are like, oh, Flashpoint.
Blame Barry. It's okay.
Okay. What's with Wild Dog's hate towards metas and aliens? It's like, I hate metas and aliens.
Got to be the crotchety one. Like, that's his trait. Yep.
Well, it's just kind of like back to what they said about Oliver and the fact that, we fight crime, regular things, street level, normal, aliens, metas. This is too weird.
Yeah, well, and for what it's worth, it is a frightening world when you are human and you suddenly wake up in the world of metahumans. And it is this reality, like he says, that, you people think you're gods, but, you're not. And you're not fallible, and you screw things up more than you help.
But in the case of Barry, he just might be a time guy. Just saying. In the case of Barry, that might be what we're working towards here.
There we go. Well, there we go. Wild Dog Savitar. That's what.
Well.
Yes, I agree. No.
Now there is
but even if he is a god, that doesn't necessarily mean he's a good god. Exactly. Zeus was a god, wasn't the nicest guy.
Someone just needs to look. It says, Barry, when someone asks you if you're a speed god, you say yes. But I think one thing. I think it's worth mentioning that this episode is remarkably similar to a Batman the Animated Series episode.
Yes, perchance to
really was it?
We get it.
Yeah.
Yes, Charlie.
Yeah. And
right down to all the beats and pops.
You weren't
the mugging and getting saved by Batman.
Plus being engaged. Yeah.
You weren't thinking that for the man who has everything. Oliver was.
They love to rip off Batman, so it's not word frame for frame of certain things. I'm just saying, not for now.
My thing with this episode is, like I said, I like the idea of this being the 100th. I like what they did as far as the 100th episode, but I wish it wasn't part of the crossover. I wish the crossover stood out more independently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, they needed the crossover conceit. So, for example, the only way they could have made this not the crossover is if this was a crossover with Flash.
Well, one thing that must have made Tyler happy, no flashback.
Hey, I like the flashbacks this season.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren, yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, exactly. God, my face when I'm like, wait, what? I almost texted a friend of mine, Ivan Drago's on Arrow.
I like the shout out to Walter, but I was kind of hoping to see Walter. But
I know, and we didn't get to see Colin. Technically we did, but not really.
Got that hologram.
You mean the cardboard cutout? Tell me that didn't look like cardboard cutout.
It did. It was a cardboard cutout with a sheen of a digital to make it look like it was like you said, a hologram.
I love how the illusion was essentially a reunion episode.
Yeah. And what about the line? What about the line Malcolm had about Tommy being a doctor now?
Chicago Med reference.
Mm-hmm.
But Chicago isn't that far away if that map from a couple of seasons goes to believe, because Star City is on Lake.
Actually, funny little thing. I was looking it up. The girl playing Professor Stein's daughter played Tommy's I'm blanking on his real name, but his character's sister on Chicago Med.
Trippy.
All connected.
Small world.
Wait, anyone else feel like Lance was kind of pointless? Oh yeah, and where's Lance during the? You would think like real Lance during hey, guess what, Lance? We're gonna go fight aliens. Wait, what?
He's still in rehab.
He's got a job. He's got a job.
He's the deputy deputy mayor. Oliver's not.
No, he's not. He's in rehab.
Oh,
he's in rehab.
Well, who knows? Maybe he only did a week.
But all right, here's my question. I know the new recruits were like stuck in Star City, but why didn't no one question? Hey, where's Evelyn?
Yeah.
Nobody cares about her, really.
Where's she at? She couldn't be meeting with Prometheus, could she?
I wrote that down in my notes. I was like, yeah, where's Evelyn during this giant
They'll
crossover?
explain it in the next episode.
Yeah, one thing I like they did this episode, it was in the, well, whatever we want to call the hall, whatever, dream state, whatever.
Arrow point.
I'll go with that. They actually, it was one of the few times they got Sarah's sexuality right. They get that wrong so many times on Legends. She says, I prefer girls. I'm like, yes, that's finally, get it right.
Well, it's been kind of undefined because at first she was
kind of obvious she prefers girls.
No, what I mean is that's the point. She's pansexual or bisexual, and they try to make her full on because networks like to pretend that those people don't exist.
That's what I'm saying. Like they can't make up their mind is she bisexual or just a lesbian. They kind of they go back and forth.
Well, so I'm sure it depends on the moment, and she may well have a preference.
Okay.
Yes.
I did when like Felicity almost went like it felt like they were intentionally making her go like comic book sci-fi intruder, and then I love when Diggle's taking off the hood and she's just going no, which was what all of us were doing in like seasons 1 of 2 of both Arrow and Flash. Mm-hmm. No, stop taking off your mask.
I thought it was funny that Felicity told Diggle that, and meanwhile she's the one who told Oliver to unmask in front of all the new recruits. Oh, but it was a fantasy world.
Yeah, where she actually is not a hypocrite and has logic. Yeah. I'm not saying that I don't like the character. I just don't like the way she's written right now.
Oh, we've talked extensively about that.
Did she even need to be there when we had Cisco? I'm just saying, like, Cisco and Felicity are literally the same person.
And well, they kind of addressed that. Oh, and how about
and Curtis when he's like, oh, so you guys have...
But they did meta Curtis by saying how original. Just saying, they did just that, kind of.
Because he said, oh, so you guys got a tech guy who quotes movie references too. Oh. Yeah. But Stein at least doesn't quote movie references. He's just smart.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Well, he's part of the science bros of Star Labs. You have to.
Oh, and what a waste! What a waste! We got Deathstroke, but it's just some stunt actor.
Duh! Maybe it was not stepping foot back in the show. I thought everybody.
And is it just me, or was the Foley just awful in that scene? They kept on having the sound of a sword hitting something, except the other two didn't have swords. So it's just like the sword is making a shing sound, just like moving through the air.
That reminds me of a joke from Who's Line. Do not make the sword. You don't need to make the ching sound. That's what we pay the swords for.
Okay, so is it canon now that Sarah is a better fighter than Oliver? Is that canon now because of this crossover? Because that's what it seemed like.
Apparently not when she's under mind control.
She almost had him.
And can we also talk about how good it is that we finally get Sarah's actual outfit for once? Because like, she never wears.
And gross. She's more like the Grey Canary. Am I right, people?
Well, it looks a little better this in the crossover than usual, but yeah.
I missed the jacket, actually. I like the.
That's what I mean. And we also get a cyborg knockoff, apparently.
I was like, okay, now Hank has a girlfriend. Awesome.
I can't believe they. I mean, this is what I don't get. There's a plethora of villains they could have used, but okay, sure, why not? Yeah, I looked her up. I couldn't find any reference to her.
That's what I was going to say. Was that supposed to be somebody? Or? Okay.
I looked it up, couldn't find anything. Okay, but one thing I loved, and this is one of the things where I really like the crossover, the tag team between Flash and Supergirl. That was like a squee geek moment. It's like,
that was awesome. It was a great moment. That was a moment of cheering.
That's what I'm saying. Now, one thing about this crossover, it's like the writers all sat down and went, they were all just sitting down and went, oh, right, this stuff is based on comic books, right?
Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, I just like the fact that, like, Supergirl, like, Renee Ramirez is all like, I don't like you guys, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes out there and gets shot at, and he's, like, fighting Cyber Woman or whatever. And then they save him, and he's like, okay, dang it. All right.
Totally saved his butt.
Yeah, those weren't some very strongly held beliefs, apparently. Because it's like, well, now that it's beneficial to me, I guess soup metas are okay.
Yeah. I did.
I will swallow my pride.
that was a quick turnaround. I did kind of like when Thea was like, "I want to stay." Then 5 minutes later, it's like, "No, I'm okay now." It's like, good. I was worried that was gonna get stretched out or something.
That's how they were going to write Thea. I was afraid Lilith was going to think that's how they were going to write Thea off the show. But she just stayed with the Dominators. They're not getting rid of Willa Holland.
Are you crazy?
Crazier things have happened.
See, here's my thought. It's like even if they all decided to stay in that dream world, I mean, the minute the Dominators won, wouldn't they have just killed them anyway?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the series finale of Arrow. There we go.
You know what was kind of weird in that whole thing? And so I get why they went with the humans. And I get why if you're attacking metahumans, you want to see how humans have been handling metahumans. Mm-hmm. But they didn't have them actually. It's like, wouldn't it have been a more... If you're going to give them a fantasy world, wouldn't it be better to, like, and you're looking for strategy, to actually have them work out that strategy?
Well, I thought it was this was a distraction while they downloaded information from their mind.
Yeah, I think that's what they said. Yeah.
It's like
fantasy was to distract them. Yeah, and the Dominators were downloading information.
You know, for a second when I saw the guy fighting Ray and the I literally went, why is he fighting Deathstroke? I went, why is he fighting Billy Wintergreen?
Miracle enhanced soldiers.
Yeah, I realized it like 2 seconds afterwards. But for a second, I'm like, wait, is that Billy Wintergreen? Mm-hmm. And Ray's like, you always had a good kick.
Yeah, and why do the Dominators just leave like guns hanging on their wall? I mean, is that?
Well, how do you decorate your alien spaceship?
Yeah, I mean, you don't just leave crap laying around.
Aero Force ain't got to explain nothing, Charlie. Okay.
Alien NRA.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Or maybe that wasn't actually a gun. Maybe it was just a fire extinguisher, and it just knocks them down. It's like, why is he shooting us with a fire extinguisher? I mean, really, he took a big risk that was even a gun.
That's actually a Doctor Who joke from season 1. He's going through alien machinery. He's like, broken, hair dryer. No. Okay, am I the only one who thought the end scene with the 3D cut, whatever you want to call them, was kind of stupid?
The what?
You know, the inspirational moment before he leapt through the illusion.
Oh, with all
it
was
cheesy. It's supposed to be emotional, but it came across cheesy.
It really I think if they I think what made it cheesy, what it wasn't real. Why did it have to be? Why did everyone have to shimmer?
Because the program was being defeated in their mind, so it was kind of like
it was about to.
I don't think it was.
They're trying to run Flash Player.
I couldn't believe they couldn't figure out that the spaceship was in space, though. I'm just like,
oh yeah, I was just about to say, it's like, oh my, wait a minute, you mean the aliens are in space? I thought the gun Oliver carried looked kind of like the plasma gun from Dead Space.
But yeah, that was the big thing. Yeah, when they were like, "Oh, they're in space," I'm like, "Well, yeah, duh, they're aliens. Why, why wasn't that it?"
Saw them get beamed up. Hello.
Yeah, they went up.
Yeah.
I know.
They were going to be in an abandoned playing card factory.
Like that stupid line from Roswell. Where are you from? And he just points up.
I just love how
they went up, to Smoke Tower.
Oh my God! What's wrong with the world? Yes, Smoke Tower.
But another thing, I love how when they're trying to figure out the ship, no one goes, "Hey, wait, these aliens are telepathic. Maybe that's a factor in the ship piloting."
No, you just put your hand
Ain't
down.
Nobody got no book learning on that.
I'm about to say, look who they captured. The only one that was smart was Ray.
Exactly.
Yeah, honestly, they should have had more useful controls. Just because then you don't have that question of how are they even flying the ship, because none of these humans are telepathic. So
it was a shout out to Independence Day. Let's just move along.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
So yeah, they escape in that ship, and then they get picked up by the Wave Rider.
Wave Rider for the save.
And apparently, Ray can memorize Dominator speak.
Yeah,
okay, sure.
He didn't know what it meant, but yeah, he remembered the words.
He is a genius. He's got
linguistics.
He's got to be useful sometimes.
You know what's funny?
Well,
I could buy Nate doing it, but
I just look at it like if you hear someone speak a foreign language or say something and you just repeat it, you don't know what you're saying, but you just remember the sounds.
Yeah, but there's a difference between a foreign language, which is somewhat based on commonality language, and then just some alien going. What did he say? He said. Is that with
Maybe he's
ever
not
heard some
speech
tribal
just
language?
like you. That's what I'm saying.
Is
Maybe
that with
it
2 clicks or third?
Speaking of linguistics, really, it has a common thing with the Torah.
God.
Like, Jim said, no, I refuse.
Oh no!
The universe doesn't have a divine plan and arrow. I challenge.
We're gonna
that.
get that scene that we saw in the comics and we saw in Justice League, where they go back in time in the beginning and there's a big hand forming the universe.
I was like,
No, I don't
Yes,
want
Lilith,
it.
they're gonna have it.
I was like,
You don't want these.
I know. I was like,
The
wait.
Dominators have just been to Earth before and spoke with a bunch of Jews in ancient Egypt. You know, they said, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, back, and there we go.
There.
And that's the basis. You know, aliens. If you live in a universe with aliens with faster than light travel, they're gonna visit. They're gonna crash land. They're gonna make do. They're gonna have influences. It's a big universe, you know.
Okay, but if we're
And
gonna
this
have
is the
influences, then let's do
Only
Stargate.
water for like a billion miles.
Oy vey that Oliver Queen shot us with a fire extinguisher.
Exactly.
I've just translated the last alien message. They say, "Oi,
Jews in space.
you can say."
Just a mess. Like, as good as it was, it did have some glaring plot holes.
One of these shows
And
having
to be fair, they actually do call out that that it's not actually the Hebrew language. Is that there's a numerical commonality in the phonetics and the way that
It ain't binary. Okay.
no,
Hey,
it's not binary, but
They had to give Ragman something to do.
Exactly.
right. One thing about this, I was actually happy with because I was so worried that the woman Stein was seeing was he's gonna come back and he had a different wife.
Yeah.
They still never said Clarissa.
Yeah,
Okay.
we haven't seen her yet, so.
Don't
They
worry,
said-
I'm sure.
he-
Don't worry,
she
I'm
said-
sure they'll have Carissa and she'll explain it all.
It'll.
Hit the button.
He
Thank
said
you.
your mother. They used mother. They never said
Exactly.
Yeah. They never said
exactly
Clarissa,
her
yes.
name.
Stein and his wife were both blondes, and their daughter is a brunette. So,
Well, yeah, or
Hair dye.
Hey.
oh yeah,
things happen.
obviously, just saying.
because Bond
If
can't
they
be
want-
taken seriously in the sciences, Charlie.
Hey, she's a time aberration. She got pink hair if she wants.
Hey,
One-
all I'm saying is
Only
my wife and I have
it's
brown
an
eyes
anime woman.
and dark hair, and my son has light brown and blue eyes.
Me
Things
and,
happen.
me and my sister are the only ones in the family of dark brown. But anyway, so one thing they did, and I thought was interesting, I don't know if this was intentional, but when they go back in time, Mick, Vixen, and Steel just watch the battle, and it makes sense because they wouldn't interfere.
Are
Yeah.
the legends learning their lesson?
I know that. Okay, so let's talk about something. What do we think of Steel's suit? Because I am not sure.
Boo!
Citizen Steel when you don't want to pay the X-Men full price for Colossus.
I thought his suit kind of, well, actually, now that I'm looking at it right now, it kind of looks like Bible Man.
I knew it looked like something, and I couldn't remember. But yes, now that you say that,
You know why? Because it is a superhero suit designed to be a superhero suit. In every other case, everyone's like uniform is based off of some sense of practicality. His suit is specifically meant
He
to be.
doesn't need a suit.
Well, exactly. He doesn't need a suit. That's why his suit is ridiculous. Because it is an intent.
You know who else it looks like? And this is an obscure DC ref. No, this is obscure Marvel reference. I'm sorry. There was actually a character, and I'm not making this up, called Super Pro. He was essentially a guy in a Captain America knockoff costume, but it was football player style.
It's a ridiculous costume, but I think it's supposed to be. You know.
I mean, it could be worse. We could get Sportsmaster.
I'm still expecting him
you
to
know,
show
one
up.
of these shows is going to have him.
It's going to be Arrow.
Yep.
Probably.
They're just not going to give him. They're not going to give him a name for a while. They're going to be like, yeah, this guy.
Oh, is he gonna be
What should
Evelyn's
we call
dad?
They're going to be like, what is him? I don't know, but he was really good at sports in high school and college. He was like a master.
He's going to have gone to high school with somebody, you know, and he was like an athlete that went nuts.
It could happen.
Yeah.
I I want to congratulate you, Zach and Charlie, because this was the highest rated episode ever.
I didn't realize it was because of us. Thank you.
No, it was your show. So
because we watched it and then someone else watched it, so it was
it's like I said earlier. It's because this whole show, this whole crossover, they realized, oh right, these characters are based on comic books, and we need to have team ups, funny lines, costumes, battles, like a comic book.
And for what it's worth, this was actually, I think, one of the better episodes of Legends. I mean, hey, Legends is not a very good show. I'm the first to admit that. It has a lot of fun. It's a very fun show, but it's like not good in the sense that there's any internal consistency to anything that happens in it. But I really felt that they were actually kind of trying to be kind of sort of stepping up to the plate, which I actually felt that it was actually kind of the best of the 3 episodes too.
Because it felt more like a crossover. It was more part of a crossover episode than it was just a standalone.
Well, yeah, that's where we got the bulk of the crossovers, Flash and then Legends of Tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, because nobody else wanted to play with the superheroes, Everyone else wanted to be...
Well, I mean, the thing was, Supergirl was her mid-season finale, and Arrow was the 100th episode, so they wanted to, do the whole anniversary thing, so it's just...
Oh, here's a nitpick. When the agents knock out Vixen and Steel, by the way, good job, Steel, not being in your metal form when there's enemies showing up. But anyways,
budgetary reasons couldn't do it.
Well, me and Charlie have talked about that many times. But here's the thing: they're like, Mick's like, why don't you use your powers to get out? And they're like, well, whatever they shot off is interfering with their powers. Except for the fact that Vixen's powers are magical.
Yeah, well. Although, for what it's worth, if anything, they're going to know about Vixen, know about her power set, have their drugs designed to attack Vixen, because she's actually a contemporary. She may actually be in this world now.
But again, you're making drugs to come back magical powers.
Yes, which Vixen may have been the one who designed, When she goes back, she might be telling this guy, oh, just so you know, you're going to have to be out in a couple of weeks. Because if she goes back to 1945, she's going to be around in 1951, probably still, a member of this of this secret power. May be the one who designed it,
unless their drugs just like interfered with her ability to access the totem.
We could. I just wanted to mention it. Oh yeah, how about Oliver telling Supergirl to sit this one out? I just wanted to see Supergirl go, I can flick you across the hangar, right?
And I'm the most powerful.
I wanted her to.
And I'm the most powerful one here.
I kind of just wanted her to get crap out of him.
That was just stupid. He's like, I want to keep it normal. It's like, yeah, do that after the alien invasion.
Exactly.
Yes. Although, can we just say it's good? Only had one that.
My sentiments exactly.
So that they can't, next week, come back with another meta bomb when no one's there.
Oh, yeah, right? It was very, actually, the ending was very Phantom Menace when you think about, we tried, let's go home. We're all done.
Yeah.
Or even Death Star, Death Star's busted. We're...
It's not worth expending all our resources. Forget about it. They should have done like South Park and just made a big wall for the Earth.
Okay, Trump.
And it makes no sense to think about their whole thing is metahumans are dangerous, and so we have to stop this metahumans. Humans are really dangerous. Let's just not even mess with them. Let's just let them continue to power up.
Well, yeah, that didn't make sense, especially for the reason the Dominators were here, is because they were all worried about they knew Barry Allen could alter the timeline and that he had. Because I'm just thinking, they're worried that maybe Flashpoint would wipe them from existence.
Well, why don't you grab Savitar while you're here?
I know, right?
Yeah, and for what it's worth, the actual, what I thought was kind of interesting is, when they first show up in the 1950s, they say, well, we noticed this metahuman surge on your planet, and I was thinking, it might not have been the JSA, it might have been Eobard. Going back.
Still Barry's fault. Still Barry's fault.
I like how pretty much the only use for Oliver to tell Supergirl to sit it out is so she wouldn't be there to the scene when the government tries to take them in. But I love how I almost want to hear that government agent go, "Oh right, he still has superpowers."
And would he care if the government saw Supergirl? She's from another Earth. Once she's gone, they're not going to be able to find her.
Yeah. Hello?
Hello?
Can we say how awesome it was to actually see Firestorm do something and then throw fireballs?
Well, we say that. We say that, and he just turned it. It's just water again. Make it bubble gum. I don't know, a rubber ball. Do something else but turn it into water.
How much harder that would be? I mean, honestly, I'm surprised he didn't just turn it into like air or carbon. You know, like oxygen, carbon. These are like simple molecules, or simple elements. No, I'm going to turn everything into water, which I guess is more simple than bubblegum, but still.
Hey,
I mean,
he learned a trick. He's just using what he knows. Okay,
he turned it into water. I mean, I don't know. There's so many things he could turn into: earth, fire, wind, heart. There's so many options.
Oh my gosh, you went there,
buddy.
You went there.
Oh,
you went there.
Yeah,
I wanted to see the scene. He turns it into water, and someone's standing there and just gets like hit by the water and dies. Like what?
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say. From that height, what would you rather get hit with? Water, bubble gum? Definitely not fire.
Air. That's what I'd like to get hit with.
A big gust of wind knocks you over into the street, and you get
Okay. Here's another thing. Unless I'm completely remembering Cisco's power wrong, he can transport people, but his vibes don't physically transport people.
No, because remember last season he took Barry over to Earth 2 and they were talking to Zoom.
Yeah, they were talking, but they didn't physically go to Earth 2.
Well, did they physically go, or were they just like kind
it's
of
basically like astral projection? Maybe.
Yeah,
yes,
they were just
exactly.
communicating. Yes.
Yes. But there's a weird line where he says, "What happens if you get it wrong? Then we'll be in the cold vast of space." I'm like, yes, but if it's your astral form, why does that matter?
Because
they're very inconsistent in their writing.
I was gonna say because it's legends.
Yeah, because
What do we think about the whole Stein's daughter thing?
I want to keep her.
I do too. I want to see if it makes Stein a better person.
Yes.
Like,
oh my God.
not that he's a bad person, but just like his attitude.
I believe the word you're looking for is douche.
Oh, so
so
now he could be an absentee father and the absentee husband.
Next season, if they get one, it's gonna be a Stein and daughter adventure.
Well, hey,
it's next few episodes.
It's time travel.
Woman. It's not. He's not absentee. She's just has her own life.
Well, think about this. It's time travel. He can literally leave her and then reappear.
They
20
always
years later,
say
at the
that.
exact same moment.
Well, they said that in season 1, and he kept time traveling.
Yeah, but he just hasn't came home at the right time yet.
Now, one thing although I don't understand how them saving the Dominator screwed anything up. Did I miss something?
I think it's because they sent that Dominator back, and he said that Earth was too dangerous, and then he brought the rest of them.
I thought they blamed Barry for that.
I don't think that really fit.
They blamed Barry. They originally blamed Barry until they messed up the timeline, because that was the whole point. Cisco made a time error. Just like Barry did.
But he blamed Barry. Remember, the guy said, "I will spare your lives, but you have to hand over Barry Allen."
But it was a lie, though, right?
Yeah.
They weren't clear on that.
Well, they clearly went.
You can't think too
We're
hard.
doing it. We dropped them
anyway.
Now, one thing they did in this episode, I liked. I like how I like how they stretched out Cisco dealing with Barry, but when he does the same thing, he's like, "Oh, so that's what it feels like. I understand now. Moving on."
Well, it would be really hypocritical of Cisco to hold a grudge after that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it would.
Yes. So the legend saved the day, so that's good. And
now that rooftop fight scene was awesome.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was. I love just this complete civil war. Let's run at each other on a tarmac scene going there.
I like how they're very fair. Like when Vixen summons the power of an elephant, everyone just wait.
Huh?
Yeah, she should have ran through him like a bowling ball. Like she should have ran through him. They should have just knocked him over because the elephant would just knock them all over.
Hit him like a wrecking.
I did like the scene when Mick and Sarah had that little moment. Hey, the president's kind of hot. I know, right?
That was funny.
This is a job for Supergirl and Flash.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
did Supergirl and Flash put that on because they said that the Dominators were coming down all over the world at first, and then it was like all over. So did they go all over the world to touch every Dominator?
Yes.
They weren't very clear on that. I wasn't sure. Although one thing they did, I thought it was interesting that they referenced that the Dominators exist in Kara's universe too.
They're
that was-
trans-dimensional beings.
Yeah, they're like the fourth world, or like like the Apocalyptians.
Well, they weren't clear on.
But you know
They
what
live
that means?
outside.
That means that either there could be Kryptonians in the Arrowverse,
They just
because
haven't revealed themselves yet.
or they don't exist in the Arrowverse because the Dominators think it's kryptonite against Kara.
See, I put down in my notes. 1, there's no kryptonite on this planet, so nothing's going to stop Kara. And 2, what if on this planet Krypton didn't explode, so it's just it's still out there, and that I have a whole nother theory about something else later. Just going to go out there crazy, but But my idea was Kara didn't even think about that.
You must share.
Well, that would be a great if they ever want to do a crossover again where they actually use Supergirl, is to have like Kal-El as General Kal-El from Krypton coming to Earth, and how will we ever defeat this superhuman?
God.
No, it's better when Superman's the villain, because then you can actually speak to his heart and find the good that is universal in Kal-El rather than.
They've
my
showed
thought
that.
Is I've often said that would be interesting if they did an idea of mixing Mon-El with Ha-El from the comics, and he decides he wants to go back and save Daxam and Krypton from being destroyed. And now that the idea that there's a parallel universe with a time ship, they could go and do that or something along those lines, and it could backfire and create like their own kind of Flashpoint.
No,
but we also.
Yeah.
But don't
They did it on the
Supergirl.
I think one thing they could do, they just have Zod come in and he's fighting Ollie, and he says, "Oliver Queen, son of Robert, kneel before Zod."
I was just gonna say, dang, you made me forget.
Yeah.
Dang it.
No, but on the Super Friends, they did once have Superman go back in time and save Krypton, and then he went back to Earth, and like the Legion of Doom had destroyed everyone, had blown up the Earth, and you realized
okay.
that.
As I have to say this, as a Marvelite, when Supergirl called them Earth's mightiest heroes, I was like, "Say what?"
Even Whisper was like, "Isn't that the wrong franchise?"
Yeah,
How did they get away with that?
The lawyers are circling.
I thought that was a little off, but the whole idea is, in Supergirl, don't forget Kylo Ren's are after the Knights of Ren are coming for Mon-El, and I have more theories about Mon-El.
Yeah,
and I'm not happy with his name. Just throwing that out there either.
But it makes such a cute
On
shipper name,
Backbone.
Caramel.
Oh.
But see, it should have been It should have been something else. And Phil and I talked about this before. The whole L thing is because it's the Kryptonian home, and he was named Mon-El because Superman or Superboy, depending on the canon, gave it to him because he considered him like a brother, and he earned that title and that mantle of being part of the family. His name wasn't just Mon-El. It was, and I'm drawing a blank because it's early, what his real Daxamite name was.
Was it Largand or something?
Yeah, I was say it was Lar something. So his name should have been Lar. It should have been even if his name was like.
There are
Mon
those who
something,
call him Tim.
It should have been something else, and then eventually he gets adopted in as part of the family, and he earns the title of Mon-El to be part of.
We can talk about now this crossover. John, I was quite pleased with it again because this was like whenever these shows are the best is when they remember they're based on comic books. They had great fights, good, decent special effects, and really just whenever they had a team up or a beat down, it was the best part.
Yeah, I mean, we can nitpick all day, but I enjoyed it. I mean, overall, it was successful. There's things I wish would have played out better and done differently. Yeah. But I'm just, once again, I'm happy that it exists. We have shows. Yeah. They are trying. We're living in a great time for comic book shows. They're not pure crap. They're actually trying to do something. So I'm not going to hate on it. I mean, Arrow is redeeming itself with this season. I'm actually thoroughly enjoying this season to the point where I'm really excited to watch Arrow. I'm just watching it because I need to. I'm actually really looking forward to the next episode each time.
So I think the crossover set a good example for the viewers that tuned in for the first time to be anxious for your respective shows.
Huh. Yeah.
I mean, I actually was thinking I might have to watch Arrow again after this, and you know, I still do watch The Flash on occasion, and I think I might put it more into rotation because these were good episodes to introduce me in.
They got the Marvel man. They accomplished their goal.
There you go.
All right, is that it then?
I think so.
All right. All right, everyone. To get a hold of the Legends of DC as a whole, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/Legends of DC Pod. On Twitter, we're at Legends of DC Pod. And on Instagram, we're Legends of DC Pod. Tyler, where can people find you in the Krypton Report?
You can find us at Krypton Report on Twitter. You can find me at JTY Patrick on Twitter. We're also on Facebook. You can find us as Krypton Report on Facebook. And Instagram is also any links from Legends of DC Podcast.
All right, and Flashpoint is on Facebook, facebook.com/The Flashpoint Podcast. Twitter is at Flashpoint_SMG, and our email is flasharrowpodcast@gmail.com. And Lilith, do you have Queen Consolidated in front of you?
Of course, you guys can find Queen Consolidated on Facebook at facebook.com/Queen Consolidated, or on Twitter, QC_SMG Pod. You can email us at queenconsolidated.smg@gmail.com, and you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire or over on my blog, adventuresinfangirling.com.
And Zach and Charlie, do you know the social media for Podcast of Tomorrow?
Not at all.
Every time I try to set up it, we of course have the Legends of Tomorrow podcast, so you can podcast. Of course, we have the podcast, the Twitter handle, and of course, I think the email's working. Half the time it doesn't, but try emailing us. We'll see if we get it. And of course, we have Facebook, but you can connect with either one of us for that way.
Yes.
All
Can I
right.
sing my Twitter handle or no? Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Charlie. Go ahead.
So if you would like to follow me on Twitter as I live tweet the Legends of Tomorrow and maybe a few extra shows now, you can always do so at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for quality. And that's called branding.
If you would like me to live tweet, I'm starting collection funds so I can get cable. No, but my Twitter handle is, of course, Instrument Sanity. Tweet me if you want. It's also my cosplay Twitter, so check me out.
And I am at LightningTT on Twitter. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, our great and powerful podcasters. And I can't believe I'm actually going to quote Felicity Smoke, but this was the best team up ever.
Oh, you got to say it right. Best team up ever.
I could get my voice high, but do that. All right. Thank you, everyone. Look up in the sky for invading aliens.